Welcome to episode 2 of Love Bytes.
So imagine that you've just met someone 2 weeks, roughly a week and a half, 2 weeks previously. They're now your significant other and you have to move in together. Lucinda Light was asked what her biggest concern about the experiment was, and she eloquently said, the shitter.
The shitter.
Yeah. So you see this week that those two move in together, and straight away you see that they've both got their own bathrooms.
She was elated.
She was elated. But can't you relate to that? Like, if you've just met someone, there's like, it's all new and romantic and whatever.
Definitely.
And it's like, you don't want to have to share a bathroom immediately with them. It's
so
creepy.
private, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it takes a long time for a couple that move in together to
be comfortable
to
with
be
that
even
sort of
remotely
stuff.
comfortable in sharing a bathroom.
If ever.
If ever.
Yeah.
Yep. And talking about people moving in together, how interesting was it to see Collins alone in his apartment and the door knock, and the door opens and surprise, surprise, guess who's back? It's Nat.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think I was really batting for him, thinking that he was being quite a gentleman. I'm a little bit confused by him now and his behaviour.
I'm definitely sitting on the fence with Collins.
Yeah, I think I'm going to sit on the fence.
I think what's happening is he wants the experience just to be on TV. I still think there's zero interest there. No, there's none. When the surprise on his face and the facial touching and
he looked very disappointed, didn't he?
It was nearly like he'd lined up a couple of Tinder dates and he was waiting for them to arrive and he was like, oh, holy shit.
What are you doing here?
You're back. What are you doing here? I've got plans.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, it was very very awkward, like with both convinced
Awkward's
to sort of
the best
stay
word
on
for
the
it.
show. And you wonder, did she get talked into going back?
I guess so, because he was already in the apartment with the cameraman.
Yeah.
So it was obviously set up. It wasn't a total shock.
But what if he was thinking they're going to set me up with a new bride?
Maybe that's why he looked so disappointed.
He did, didn't
It's
he?
like I thought I would get someone a little bit more attractive.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I'm not saying she's not attractive, but
attracted to him.
He clearly has no attraction towards her. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I do agree.
Now, the Jaden and Eden confession letter, it was pretty shocking, don't you think?
It was vile, and I think as the viewers, there's so much written online and, you know, people having their opinions and whatever, but we can only go based on what we're shown.
But having known Eden's trauma from an ex-relationship, why would that be the topic of his confession? Do you think it's something that's been spurred on with the Jack episode and what's happening to him online? With his ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, possibly. Like, because they're in the experiment together and he saw the fallout of that. And how much more serious is his? Like,
so there's two...
His is crossing a line in morality, humanity. It's absolutely horrendous.
So there's two scenarios. He's done it because he's worried that perhaps that piece of information might come to light online, or we have the most evil producers
ever
producing this show that knows her trauma and then has pushed him
with that trauma.
Pushed him to write that.
Yeah. I think if he was doing it to sort of be on the front foot so that it didn't come out later and bite him, why wouldn't he have said, I feel remorseful about that?
Exactly.
But he didn't say that.
And that is what she had a problem with.
Yeah.
Is it's not the act, it's the fact that he just said...
I think she'd have a problem with the act too,
Well, she said she didn't.
She
said she had more of a problem with the fact that there was... He didn't feel like it was a mistake.
Yeah. So what did you think about the photo task that Richard and Andrea did it?
Look, to be honest, I lost a lot of respect for Richard because he kept saying, oh, this is just purely by looks, yet every photo that he put up in order. He had these little complimentary
like she's
snippets.
Hot.
She's
hot
hot
body.
and she's got a bubbly personality. So it didn't come down to just looks. And basically it made him look like a creepy old man.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard for him to come back because he's been branded now. He's branded himself with being a creepy old man.
Yeah. It was really uncomfortable to watch how they edited it. Like she's standing there watching him. Well, you don't have to edit that. That's what would have happened. She stood there and watched him pass comment on these women that are like 20 years younger than her, as she said.
But he nearly looked excited.
He did.
And that was the creepy stuff.
It was
Okay,
really
he
creepy.
could say, look, okay, on beauty alone, like there's plenty of younger women. And of course they're going to look younger and maybe more vibrant. I don't know. But he's a 60-plus-year-old man.
Who's dating a younger woman,
Who's
even though
dating
she's older.
a younger woman, like by more than 10 years.
Yeah.
And the creep factor just hit
It did, didn't it?
top
All-time
level.
high.
It
Yeah.
was horrible.
Yeah.
And then on that particular topic, Timothy,
And Lucinda Light
and Timothy, they didn't do the task. And I thought his explanation of that was brilliant. And one that I hold that of same opinion is how can that task at this point of their relationships assist in development of their relationship?
The way that he's a bit gruff and stuff, the way that he sort of gets his point across, but he made sure that she understood she's who he would pick. But it's a degrading task and it would cause issues in a relationship, and he doesn't see any
And he brought
positive
up
benefit.
exactly what I've just said about Richard. He said, I don't want to be this creepy old dude rating 20-plus year women
Based on their looks. Yeah.
He said, I just don't see the point of this. This is, it's a disaster, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tristan's confession letter to Cassandra, where he highlighted, I suppose, his insecurities because he was a chubby kid. Do you think that was received okay by Cassandra?
I think Cassandra received that beautifully. She was lovely and supportive. And when she said, I had a tear when she said to him, I'll never laugh at you, I'll laugh with you. Don't you think that was beautiful?
It was nice. I do think he's got some sort of guard up.
Yeah.
I don't think we fully know who he is as a man yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. But I think it appears that he's with the right person.
Yeah, I don't mean
For
to
now.
be a nasty person, but I don't buy his confession letter. I think there's something more than just him being insecure about how he was treated. He's been paired up with a gorgeous bride. They haven't even kissed yet. What's the go with that?
But it would be pretty intimidating. She's gorgeous, don't you think? Like, she's gorgeous. He's paired up with her. He hasn't had a relationship in like 7 years. He's got these insecurities. I think you're right. I think there's more to it, possibly. But
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
yeah, but I think it was received really well, and I think she's a gorgeous girl. She was very kind to him.
I think they have potential.
Yeah, they do.
He needs to, similar to Tim, work on a few things.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
Maybe the intimacy and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. The phone task about giving each other access to their phones, I think it was interesting with Tim and Sarah because at the wedding, she was so shocked about him having been in a relationship that was so serious so recently. And then during the phone task thing, when it flashed to her, she was talking about, I came in this experience to get over my ex, not I'm over, to get over him. And there was a lot of distrust and he cheated on her. And then she wasn't willing to share her phone in the task.
She
What
didn't
was
want to
that
do
about?
it. And what's that about?
Yeah.
Because he's now lost all trust for her.
Yeah.
He's like, are you cheating on this relationship? Are you speaking to other guys? Are you telling people about what you feel about me? The insecurities have gone through the roof.
Because he explained to her prior to that, like in the same episode, he explained about his trust issues and why he's got them. she's been very judgy on him, and then she's not willing to share her phone. So even though he's saying to her, oh, yeah, that's okay, I'll accept that for now, I still think...
Well, the piece to camera afterwards, he just said... He said all those things. What's she saying? Is she in contact with other guys? It's really increased the insecurity there.
Yeah. So Lucinda Light was really poking the bear with Timothy.
Yes. And funnily enough, he was wearing a T-shirt that says, "Don't poke the bear" on the back. It was quite funny.
It was the first time we kind of saw her get quite upset, wasn't it?
She was mildly frustrated, and I think it's justified. I think he's got a big barrier up, and again, probably a little bit like Collins, he's holding something back, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
He's very reluctant to go into any stage of intimacy.
Yeah.
And I think she's getting frustrated because she wants to be in advanced stages of intimacy.
Yeah.
And she's not letting up, and it's making him a little bit insecure.
And you told me something about, I didn't see it, but the thing about him saying, I'm not going to go and do a tantric something in the hills or something.
That's right. He said that she wanted him to go do a 4-day tantra sex course in the hills of Queensland, and then his comment was something aligning to he didn't want to go and spend 4 days in the hills with a bunch of hippies with his balls out.
I think she's created, as she said, like a safe space for him. I think he does like her. Don't you?
Yeah.
I actually think he likes her.
And his motivation for being on the show, he's said several times, he just doesn't like being alone. Yet here he is with his experiment, and he hates not being alone.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I kind of think as well, when she eloquently referred to as I said earlier, the shitter.
Yeah.
Don't you think he's the sort of person, it seems, he does like his own time and his own space. She's in it all the time. How we related her to like his puppy or his dog. That they're quite similar.
And I love the edit of him wanting his own space, and she's just always following, oh, how do you like your own bathroom? How do you like this?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing now? Do you want to go and do this? She's driving him nuts, but I think he needs that. He needs that push constantly.
I think he does, but don't you think as well you can relate to him in the sense, that's why I brought up that gross thing again. You can relate to him in a sense that he would probably want to go to the bathroom, watch television for a bit, have a nap, because you get to do that when you're meeting somebody for the first time and it's new.
Exactly.
He doesn't get that space.
And she's still invested. What did she say? She holds the lantern of hope or something like that.
Yeah.
She's got these hippie little sayings, and I think they're quite good, but I do think that he needs to move just a little bit quicker, because grass is growing quicker.
He needs to move quicker, and she needs to potentially just back it off a little bit.
I think if she backed it right off...
Because he keeps saying that. He keeps instructing her to do that, and she's not listening.
She was sitting back, steaming some clothes, ironing. He was watching TV, and then he's like, well, what's going on? Like, I'm walking on eggshells. Yes, and she's come forward and said, you've hurt my feelings a little bit. And I think that communication's good. She's open, she's honest. She doesn't have a problem with communication. He does, because something's holding him back. And again, we're going to watch more episodes, and she'll either break down those barriers or she'll take off.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're heading into the first commitment ceremony, and now that we have Collins and Nat back, I'm going to probably predict Collins is going to write stay and Nat's going to say leave.
Yep, I'm with you with that.
Do you think there's any other potential brides or grooms that are going to write leave at this stage?
I'm going through them. I don't think she does. Like, there's no indication that she does. But Jaden's partner, Eden, isn't it? I would have thought she would write leave, but there's no indication.
Well, we haven't yet seen much of their relationship after that, other than a small snippet of him sort of explaining that to her that what he did was very wrong, and perhaps he shouldn't have said there's no remorse there. I don't know. I think it might be on the mend.
Yeah.
We'll have to just wait and see what happens.
Surprisingly, yeah.
So we'll see you after the commitment ceremony back here on this channel.